This video will be about my avian human race, the Qyaalyon. Previously, I've given a rough outline of their culture and detailed their biology. Unique factors of their biology, such as scented musk and a dual vocal system, account for some of their cultural quirks. But this video will begin to delve into their overall social structure and explore how Qyaalyon society has organized itself. The Qyaalyon are migrators during the summer, striking out from their winter towns in small groups called flocks. They hunt and gather, sending as much food as they can back to their hometowns so that it may be preserved and saved for winter. I think the most important thing to note about Qyaalyon society is that it is divided much more strongly on the basis of age than it is on sex. Human females have 37 to 68% of muscle strength of males in general. This may account for some of the historical role divides between the sexes, though not all, since there are other factors such as childbearing. Ooh, that's bright. Because Qyaalyon are still 90% human, they would reasonably also have a strength disparity between male and female, but their flight factor changes everything. Flight skill supersedes raw strength as a physical advantage, so a female in her prime would hold much more value as a hunter than an aging male whose joints have begun to ache and whose bones are going brittle. And so it's young men and women who form the flocks that go out hunting during the summers. The elderly who've given up flying stay behind in the winter towns. The young hunt and fight for territory and battle lions and bring back the protein they will all need to survive the coming winter. The elderly work curing meat and preserving the food for storage, as well as engaging in crafts such as basket weaving and making clothing for their children and grandchildren. In essence, the roles reflect how humans often divide masculine and feminine roles in society, but the roles are reassigned to the old and the young. I think the exception to this would be nursing mothers. After giving birth, females might need to take a year or so off hunting and instead gather greens until their child weans. I think this will probably always be a disparity in nursing mammalian societies who don't have the technology for preserving milk or synthesizing it with formula. Like with humans, I think the Qyaalyon would have a tendency to glorify the masculine role the young hunters play, as they do bring back meat for the hungry flock. The more feminine role the elderly play might not be as highly valued. They just sit around cooking and doing crafts all day? Anyone can do that. I'm the one going out, risking life and limb to bring back the food they cook. However, the elderly do more than it might appear on the surface. As they crush berries to make wine or cut leather scraps into cords to weave shirts, they talk. They tell stories, they sing, and they pass on the wisdom of their forefathers. They are the ones who have the time to learn musical instruments and epic bird songs. They share ancient art styles and weaving patterns. They discuss the changing world outside their borders and argue the pertinency of the goddess Shakoba's parting words of wisdom. Although the young, those foolish hotheads and cocky hunters, might not respect the work they do, the elders are living vessels of Qyaalyon culture and traditions. If they were to be lost, the young have no idea how much would die with them. Let us review the life cycle of an average Qyaalyon, shall we? I know I mentioned this in the first biology video, but let's go a little deeper. Children migrate with their parents in small, close family units within their flock. While the parents hunt, the children do the majority of the foraging and gathering. They are called fledglings until they completely lose their down feathers at about age 6. Children learn to fly and build strength between the ages of 6 and 12. Once they are fully capable flyers, they are considered the equivalent of a teenager and begin taking on more responsibility, minding the younger children and learning to hunt. They come of age at 15 and are considered a mature and capable adult, at least in so much as we dubiously consider our 18-year-olds mature and capable adults. At this time, if they choose, they can leave their flock and strike out to find their own. However, would all of them leave at 15? I don't think so. When our young graduate high school, some are excited to go off to university right away. Dorm life, yay. Others stay at home and attend a local college, or join the workforce. Or they fumble around for a few years starting various businesses until they wind up making YouTube videos. Some can't wait to move out of their parents' house, while others wait, and wait some more. It would be the same with new Qyaalyon hunters. Some would be rip-roaring to go as soon as they turn 15, others might wait a year, or 2, or 3, and some might never leave their parents' flock if they're supremely comfortable and feel no need to test themselves. And of course, some of the hunters that leave eventually make their way back home. But by their early 20s, Qyaalyon are generally expected to have their life figured out and their flock chosen. When they do choose a flock to become their new family, and the flock in turn accepts them, a sacred vow is made before a Shakoban priest. The young hunters commit to serve and provide for their new flock until age tightens her cold grip around their ankles and draws them back to the earth, and they must retire from migration when, in turn, the flock will provide for them. Qyaalyon do not have familial surnames, but if pressed to provide one, they would probably use the name of their flock in substitute. The bonds between members of a flock run deep. They form your new extended family. The other hunters will become your brothers and sisters. One day, they will become the aunts and uncles of your children. Their children will be like cousins to yours. Once a hunter commits to a flock, changes do happen, but rarely, and not without good reason. I'm not currently working on a Qyaalyon conlang, but if I was, I think there would definitely be separate words with similar roots for blood family members and flock family members. Your blood sister and your flock sister. The blood cousins you see during the winter and the flock cousins you grew up alongside. Your immediate blood family, meaning partner and dependent children, always take precedent, but your loyalties lie with your flock family above and beyond your extended blood family. Because the commitment to a flock is so serious, it's generally a good idea to choose your partner first. Many bird species mate for life, and Qyaalyon prefer to do so as well. It is said that two mated Qyaalyon are like two lumps of clay reformed into one vessel. They can no longer be separated without both halves being destroyed. But that doesn't mean it never happens. When choosing a mate, Qyaalyon aren't simply looking for someone to bear children with. You're looking for a hunting partner, someone you can work with and spend every day of the summer with, through times of plenty and times of hunger. Someone who can learn to read the subtlest tilt in your wings and anticipate the moves you make before you make them, strategizing silently and seamlessly. I was asked in a previous video about courtship rituals, but in truth, Qyaalyon have few. A couple might meet at a festival dance or while flock hopping, but the process of actually determining whether or not they would make good partners is simple. You hunt together, every day. When your hunting goes foul, you will quickly learn whether he has a foul temper or she a critical tongue. You will learn if you have an alignment of spirits, able to anticipate and negotiate and strategize, or if you just don't. But once a match is made and a couple decides to commit to each other, it is really rather similar to committing to a flock. A sacred vow is made before a priest, and that's it. Their flock might hold a small celebration, and they might exchange some token of their union, such as a feather, or a carved bit of ivory, or a practical item for migration. Symbolically speaking, with their vow, the reformed clay vessel is fired and the two become one. You and your partner will proceed to live out the rest of your days together, raising children and teaching them to fly and hunt and set traps and gather greens. Eventually your children will grow up and strike out on their own, and you can only hope and pray for their safety, nursing your private wish that they come back, or that they wind up in your sister's flock so that she can keep an eye on them. Eventually, the rigors of migration life will take their toll, or you may suffer a flight injury and be forced to retire early. Then you will begin a new stage of life and start a new career in the winter towns. Flock self-select. When you're young and out searching for a flock you feel like you could belong to, you are subconsciously searching for like-minded people. Flocks are groups of avians who get along with each other because they share values. Some might believe in being firm with their children. A person who believes that will not be happy in a flock that believes in an easygoing parenting style. Others might have strong opinions on moral issues, or how a flock should be managed, or the proper way to hunt. Because flocks self-select, that will encourage grouping based off of ideals. Probably the majority of flocks are fairly similar and mundane, with slight differences once you get to know them. But there will always be the outliers, those Qyaalyon who simply cannot find a flock they feel they belong to. All those individuals need is to but find each other, then they can form a new flock together. So far, in my writing, only one such outlier flock has come up, when a character meets a fang-wearing woman who is the yin and tay of an all-female flock. Whether from negative past experiences or for their own personal reasons, these female hunters decided to form a flock of their own and leave the company of men. It's a pretty obvious twist on the Amazons or the Hunters of Artemis, but you get the idea, and the possibilities are endless. You may have asked yourself once or twice, what is a yin and tay? The yin and tay is the leader of a flock. How they are elected to that position varies by flock. Some flocks prefer hereditary heirs, some have the yin and tay select and train his own replacement before retirement. Some vote, some host a more physical challenge, and some look for signs from the gods, often in the form of spiritual gifts or a unique wing coloration. Alright, that's where we'll leave off for this video. The next video you see on this channel will be a comments discussion video, and after that we will go to Sociology Part 2, where we'll discuss Qyaalyon religious views, the justice system, and specialized guild flocks. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more of my work, you can subscribe to me here on YouTube and follow my Instagram. There is a Discord server, but I'm limiting access to control the growth, so check the description box. And I also have my main YouTube channel for sewing and another Instagram for that. See ya!